Thunder and lightning swept across the coast on Tuesday, lighting off 23 confirmed wildfires in the Six Rivers National Forest. 150 lightning strikes were recorded prior to the burning fires, with 11 active fires in Norte County as of the time of recording. We are clearly not exempt from the destructive power of the recent lightning storms. The largest incident in the area is the Holiday Fire, which is spanning 528 acres, burning approximately 2 miles south of the Oregon border near Rockland. The remaining 10 active fires are under 10 acres each at this time. The Kelly Fire is approximately 1 mile south of Patrick's Creek on the south side of Highway 199. Caution is advised while driving through the area as the fire is visible from the road. Gasky has no official evacuations or road closures at this time, though some have left the area of their own accord. A red flag warning is in effect for Gasky, Willow Creek, Orleans, and Mad River areas. A red flag warning is a weather designation that could cause higher fire activity in the area, with weather phenomena including low humidity, higher temperatures, and wind gusting across the forest. Efforts to stop the fires are currently ongoing, with methods to stop the fires including a full suppression strategy utilizing rapid and aggressive starting attack operations. You may hear helicopters overhead today more frequently than usual, as air attack is being used to perform reconnaissance on the fires and forest area. Keep an eye on the sky and ear to the ground about any evacuations from the Department of Emergency Services and the Sheriff's Office. For Redwood Voice Community News, I'm Sebastian Monroe. Yesterday, many were witness to the destructive power of Mother Nature as the Kelly Fire grew from 90 acres to 1,091 acres. The Holiday Fire just south of Rockland is now 1,791 acres. 3 more fires have reached over 100 acres large, and those fires are as follows. The Prescott Fire, which is 481 acres, the Corral Fire, which is 349 acres, and the Marlow Fire, which is 200 acres. Eyes are being kept on the small but growing Coon Fire at 30 acres. These numbers are accurate as of 3 o'clock this morning. Starting at 2 p.m. yesterday, a section of 199 was closed due to the closeness of the fire, and with that, here's some updates on evacuation status and road closures for Norte County. All people in Patrick's Creek, Little Jones Creek, Copper Creek Drainage, Washington Flat, and Coon Creek should leave immediately. They are under a Level 3 evacuation order, meaning go now. All people in High Divide, Rowdy Creek, and Panther Flat should be ready to leave at a moment's notice. They are under a Level 2 evacuation order, meaning be set. And all people on French Hill, Big Flat, or Rock Creek, Low Divide, and Gasky should stay updated as much as possible, and those with special needs should make arrangements to evacuate. They are under a Level 1 evacuation, meaning be ready. Highway 199 is fully closed from postmarker 16 to postmarker 31 due to the fires. The road has no expected reopening date. The campgrounds that are closed due to the fires are as follows: Patrick's Creek, Grassy Flat, Panther Flat, and Big Flat campgrounds. Due to extreme risk, Pacific Power is monitoring 2 wildfires near vital infrastructure for their Northern California operations. At the request of emergency personnel, Pacific Power has turned off power in some areas near the head fire and may need to do so for the Smith River complex of fires. An estimated 20,000 customers could see an extended power outage in Crescent City and surrounding areas. Customers with medical needs are encouraged to contact the Pacific Power customer service line at 1-888-221-7070. Six Rivers National Forest recommends all residents sign up for the Community Alert System for the most timely information. To sign up for the Community Alert System, visit www.communityalertsystem. That's all for now. Keep your eyes on the sky and your ears to the ground for more updates. For Redwood Voice Community News, I'm Sebastian Monroe. California Interagency Incident Management Team 15 was briefed yesterday afternoon, and the team will assume command of the Smith River Complex today, August 18th. The fires within the Smith River Complex are threatening numerous communities, highly used travel corridors, critical transmission lines, and other natural and cultural resources. Focusing on suppressing the fires threatening these areas will remain the priority for the coming days. The Smith River Complex is burning a combined 7,300 acres as of the time of recording. Here is your daily evacuation status and road closure information, which is accurate as of 9 a.m. on August 18th. All people in Coon Creek, Little Jones Creek, Patrick's Creek, Copper Creek Drainage, and Panther Flat need to evacuate immediately. The last engines and remaining people at Washington Flat are retreating as of 5 p.m. yesterday. All people in Gasky, French Hill, and Rowdy Creek should either voluntarily relocate or prepare to leave at a moment's notice. Pack all medications, oxygen, and important documents. All people at Low Divide, Big Flat, or Rock Creek and from Hyuchi to Slant Bridge should stay updated on the fire status and begin evacuation preparations. The following roads are closed for the foreseeable future. Highway 199 from Pioneer Road to Oregon Mountain Road. County Road 316 Shelley Creek. County Road 315 Holiday Mine, County Road 311 Old Gasky Toll Road, Rowdy Creek Road just past the Gun Club, County Road 305 Weimer Road, Forest Service Roads 16 and 19 and 17 and 07. For any displaced by the fires, the American Red Cross has set up a shelter for evacuees at the Del Norte County Fairgrounds. For further information, call or text 279-224-0053. For any large animals that need to be housed due to the fire, please contact the Del Norte County Fairgrounds. For any other animals, bring them to the fairgrounds where the Disaster Animal Response Team will be able to provide further information and supplies. Local shelter options are available at the following places: All Creatures Animal Hospital and Bird Clinic at 1380 North Crest Drive in Crescent City. Their number is 707-464-7448. Crescent Animal Medical Center at 1590 North Crest Drive in Crescent City. Their number is 707-464-8321. Four Paws Pet Hospital at 144 West Washington Boulevard in Crescent City. Their number is 707-465-5993. Red River Ranch at 421 Highway 101 North in Crescent City. Their number is 707-465-0111. Town and Country Animal Clinic at 15740 Highway 101 South in Brookings, Oregon. Their number is 541-469-4661. And Brookings Harbor Veterinary Hospital at 15630 Highway 101 South in Brookings, Oregon. Their number is 541-469-7788. Due to extreme risk, Pacific Power is monitoring 2 wildfires near vital infrastructure for their Northern California operations. At the request of emergency personnel, Pacific Power has turned off power in some areas near the head fire, and may need to do so for the Smith River complex of fires. An estimated 20,000 customers could see an extended power outage in Crescent City and surrounding areas. Customers with medical needs are encouraged to contact the Pacific Power customer service line at 1-888-221-7070. The local incident line is now open. The hours they accept calls is from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., though these hours may change as need arises. The number to call is 707-383-9727. Six Rivers National Forest recommends all residents sign up for the Community Alert System for the most timely information. To sign up for the Community Alert System, visit www.co.del-norte.ca.us/Community Alert System. That's all for now. Keep your eyes on the sky and your ears to the ground for more updates. For Redwood Voice, I'm Sebastian Monroe. What you just listened to was my coverage of the first 3 days of the Smith River complex. Since then, many things have changed. Low Divide and Gasky have been fully evacuated as of August 24th, 2023. In addition, many places have been put on level 2 and Hyuchi has reached level 1. Many people have been displaced and the fires still rage up to 52,000 acres as of today. All of Redwood Voice has been here for it, or most of us, I should say. And I brought us all together to discuss all of our experiences, everything that's happened since the fires started, with the power outage for a few days and the community outreach that has come along. So here's that. Well, we've survived, or we're surviving presently in Del Norte County with the Smith River complex of fires, and I've got all of Redwood Voice here. I'm Sebastian. Let's get a name check going here.
My name is Ethan.
Bryce.
Monique, how you doing?
Well, I'm doing pretty all right. We got the power back. So, how has it been dealing with the fires? Like what are your experiences been? You know, living in the county where the power went out and it's apparently the top priority in the nation.
Every morning, my car is covered with pieces of the Six Rivers National Forest in Gasky.
Yeah, we always got souvenirs, I guess, huh?
Yeah, there's a lot of ash rain. That's pretty big. I saw somebody washing their car, not realizing the ash is going to peel all the paint off. And then me personally, I had to build a shower in my driveway, and then I was feeding and showering people and a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, talk more about that. That was I remember you saying a little bit about that before.
Basically, a bunch of like family friends or family members or anybody who's like associated with me. Obviously they have their power out. They don't have a generator. So my family was like, hey, come over to my house. You can, bathe and then also get food. And so we did that for like 2-3 days. We were feeding like 20 to 40 people.
Wow.
About.
Oh, wow.
So
Yeah, yeah, like just off the cuff.
yeah, basically. People would like bring over food and everything, but for the most part, we were the ones cooking. We were the ones preparing everything.
That's pretty
showering
wild.
them. Yeah. So that was a pretty big thing because there seemed to be an issue with power and people not having a generator or not being properly prepared for this sort of event.
Man, I mean, how can you really be like super prepared for this kind of event?
Yeah.
Yeah, like we get power outages all the time, but a generator isn't necessarily something that everyone has, which has been a big thing that Pacific Power has been trying to remedy with their big like industrial level power generators. But how about you, Monique? How's it been for you?
Let's see. This is the first time it felt kind of like apocalyptic. Like every morning, the sun is orange. The skies, you can't see the sky until like 5 p.m. when the wind takes all the smoke away. And having no power at night, I had to read my books by candlelight.
Real pioneer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it,
Yeah, so I mean, on that idea of that community that Bryce
Yes.
kind of was on, the Kobold's Lair where I work has been doing charging stations for those who don't have power. Now that the county seems to have power, it's not so much a place of like, oh, just come charge, but it's a place of community meeting. I've found apparently like 40 to 50 people have come through there just like charging stuff, and people that he's never like actually talked to before came in and like played with like the stuff in there, set up miniatures, that kind of stuff. He talked to a Catholic woman for 2 hours about D&D, which was an experience.
I would imagine.
I've heard.
That seems like an experience. This seems to be a big thing with like local business and everything. I've talked to a few people where they're talking about how business was having issues, and then I've also heard like examples like the Kobold's Lair where it's like no business is doing better now because of it. People are coming together, and then they're have these centralized locations that they're all going to, using the Kobold's Lair for like a charging station, for example, or just hanging out.
Yeah. Yeah, because like fishermen's, how many meals they do? Like 500?
I think it was
Over
500. Yeah, around 500 that they were just giving out to the community.
Yeah.
So it was pretty big.
So the
deal.
community's really come together, I think. Like it's surprisingly well, as Paul has once said, really kind of hit it where it needed to be hit. Ethan, how have you been doing?
Just through the whole outage, or
Yeah, this whole fire thing. How's it been going for you?
it's just been interesting. I guess just an abrupt change in life. But then, I guess the most abrupt thing for me was the cold showers, right? I mean, there
yeah.
wasn't really power, but, I could live without power, I guess, right? So it wasn't the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
You're not so reliant on it as maybe other people are.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Like, I have video games, but I don't I think a lot of people are like, where's my Wi-Fi? Where's my YouTube? But, like, I'm not, I can go without.
Right.
I could just sit around, read a book, right?
Yeah, real mountain men behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm happy happy that we have the Kobold's Lair now, because the other day I played Just Dance with Amanda Doctor, and that was fun.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd do that.
Yeah.
Just have a random Just Dance party in a business.
Right. Yeah. No, that was good. What did you guys see at Fisherman's? Because I know you all went out and like did a bunch of journalism. What did you all see out at Fisherman's?
Okay.
Not a lot.
Yeah.
I would probably say, I mean, there's the line, obviously, everybody getting their food, and then, walking off. How it was talked about, at least when it was put on the radio and everything, for it was that this is an event where they're donating food for the community and also firefighters. What it looked like is that there were no firefighters, but that might have just been when we were showing up and whatnot. Mm-hmm. It seemed, there was a line of people, but they seemed a little not wanting to talk.
Gotcha.
They're
Yeah, I mean,
standoffish.
that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I noticed as the days go by, people's faces are getting a little more depressed, looking like they don't have any smile, no smile. Just they're
Right.
like me and Ethan saw at the charging station at the high school. People were pretty, just looked like they were down in the dumps, but maybe they were fine. They were on their phones, but.
Yeah, a lot of people have that kind of face after all of this. It's just
Yeah.
like, I'm here. I'm alive.
Right.
The
I mean,
Wi-Fi has been drained from my life.
right. I mean, all the people like coming out of Gasky. I can't imagine how like brutal that must be. I've got a couple people living at my house from that area that they just had to go.
Oh yeah. The being displaced and everything with their houses potentially being burned down. Who's to know yet? At the time of recording this and whatnot.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah, we will see. I guess. And you guys also went to the fairgrounds, right? That was the other thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, who'd you talk to over there?
Do you want to lead that, Ethan?
Yeah, we basically first went into the shelter and everything, and just kind of like announced that we were with Redwood Voice Youth Media, and just asked who we could talk to, and everybody there was actually a lot more receptive because the whole day we've been met with hostility. Everybody's very busy, doesn't want to talk to you. These people were very busy, but they're like, oh, youth reporters. And I think also Mary Dorman already knew us, so I think that had a lot to do with it, right? We already have an established connection there, so they went and tried to get Mary Dorman, and this nurse stopped by and also seemed interested, and she was a little interested in an interview, but we didn't interview her right away. We waited until we got to talk to Mary Dorman. It was maybe about half an hour or so of waiting. We had, like coffee and stuff, and got to see the inside of the shelter. We could not record inside of the shelter though. Mary Dorman compared it to being inside someone's bedroom because it's just all these cots, and every cot has a backpack full of someone's stuff, and I don't even know if describing it breaks the confidentiality.
I mean, like videotaping something is more than describing something because you're not like saying the specific things. I guess I think that's fair. I think what you did is fair, and I'm not gonna think about it too much. But here's that interview with Mary Dorman.
All right, just on my drinks out of the picture. Here, hold my ice cap. Second coffee of the day.
All right. So what's the work you're doing in the fairgrounds?
So what we're providing is a shelter for those who have been affected by the fire, and we have. Sorry, I'm distracted. What we provide them is a safe place to stay. We provide meals 3 times a day. We have cots for them to stay in, showers, bathroom. They have space to charge their phones. We have books that were donated by the Friends of the Library for them to keep, and a couple of games. And basically, for those that don't have anywhere to go, we're there everywhere to go.
And what has been the community's response from people coming in? Have they been comfy?
Well, yes. I mean, they are on a cot, but we really try to do a good job at making everything else welcoming and happy and give them somewhere that they can just kind of decompress. We do also have mental health folks and the nurse on staff to kind of keep an eye and make sure, if somebody's having a little harder time than others, that we're helping them as much as we can to get through that. But it's really about just having a welcoming, safe place to go when you don't have anywhere else on one of the worst days of your life.
Have you had any issues with how many people have been coming into the facility and everything? Like the amount of people, has that been a trouble for you, or have you guys stayed on top of it?
No, we've been on top of that, and we have plenty of supplies. The state also, through Cal OES, has been sending additional supplies. We haven't had to break into those yet. We're a pretty resilient group of people up here in Del Norte County, so there's a lot of folks who are kind of taking care of themselves. We're here if their situation changes. Sometimes, you go to a friend and send your sleep sleeping on the couch, and after about day 3, you know, or if you went to a friend and they don't have power and they continue to not have power, we're here. All that we ask is, have you been affected by the fire, and would you like to register and stay with us?
How many people here are evacuated from Gaston versus just people that are here for other reasons?
So anyone affected by the fire is welcome. So there is also folks that haven't been able to use their CPAP machines because of the power situation, so they're welcome. When they come to us, all we ask is for a name and a contact phone number, and if they've been affected. We do not ask for an address. We do not ask about immigration status. We do not ask for proof of ID. All are welcome who have been affected.
How has this experience been? Has it been overwhelming? Has it been easy? Not easy, but...
Nothing is easy when you're dealing in a disaster, but it's been just so heartwarming having the community come up. And one of the things I love the best about working with the shelter is that our clients are actually there for each other. And they get to share their stories with each other and provide that support to each other. And frankly, we end up becoming kind of a big family. You end up getting to know everybody's name, and you kind of know what kind of dog they have and things like that. And so over coffee and over a couple of meals, they become adopted family. So it's been wonderful, and we've been able to bring in some teams from across the country to help booster our response. We've got folks here from New York, New Jersey, and I forget what other states, but this is the Red Cross showing up for our locals when we are needed, and that's what we do. And so, and the other thing I'd just like to mention, because a lot of people don't realize this, everything we do is from money that is donated. We do not get any government resources or anything. This is run by donation dollars, we call them. We do get things that come in from the state that are for our use, but that's it, like additional cots and things.
I think that's about it. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else you'd like to
Yes.
No, I love what I do. I love our volunteers. It takes a team to do this, and we're just proud to be here for our neighborhood.
Thank you.
Yeah, so there's a segue.
Yeah, it was nice how friendly people were at Red Cross, and Mary in the interview herself explains it as after all this like horrible stuff happens, as all this devastation, they kind of come together as a big family. Mm-hmm. And it, even from like an outsider, just like being there for a little bit, it definitely seemed like that. Yeah, people were super responsive. They're very nice. People were minding themselves and everything, and you know they allowed us to do our thing and then get some interviews. Yeah, it must be rough working as a Red Cross nurse, and I mean all this going on, like that seems like a lot of triage, I guess, mentally at least, like mental triage. I haven't heard of any crazy injuries coming from the fires yet. Yeah, I haven't heard of any either, but they seem to be doing well with it. And she also explained that a lot of them were like volunteers and everything. So this is the community helping the community. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I noticed it wasn't just people with Red Cross vests walking around there as well. There was people that had vests that said volunteer. There's people that had each vest said something different. They were all from different departments. It was interesting to see all the collaboration. Even when we left the fairgrounds and we were about to leave, we got a pan of these fire trucks, and they were all the way from Reno, Nevada. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think my dad's my dad's fiance is working over there right now. I'm not sure. But yeah, the whole community is just kind of poured out to help these people who put on they put on so many things out in the world, like the Gasky Raft Races. That's just like a big festival that happens every year, and I don't know if it's going to happen next year with everything that just happened or is happening presently, I should say. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot going on over there, but the community's really, really poured out. I think that's a good thing. I mean, with Bryce, nobody told you, you all just decided to do it. The feed and everything. The super ad they were running, their meat was going to go, and so they decided to cook it up for the community, and give it away. Yeah, like a lot of stuff is going on. And you guys went to the farmers market yesterday, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Me and Monique had gone to that.
Yeah, how's the rock market?
Rock Market.
Oh yeah, collapsing.
Yeah.
It was interesting going to the market and everything and hearing about the more like of a business owner within Del Norte, of a small business, and how that's been affected by the fires and whatnot, and also concerns with the redwoods and the chance of them being damaged from the fires.
Right.
That was also something that was brought up when I had talked to him. And then Monique, you had also
Yeah.
interviewed someone.
And while he was talking to the what are those called?
The
Rocks and minerals seller.
Yeah, yeah. A rock
Gemstone
merchant.
seller. This other lady from her stall chimed in. What was her? Dorothy from Magical Dreams Paintings. She said she brings her family's crafts in to sell from I think up in Oregon, and she can't get there now. And I asked, is it will this fire affect your business in the future? And she said probably it will, because the roads are closed and everything.
Yeah. So, I mean, with all this like dark, like, it's, we got all these people are being displaced, businesses are going out. Like, what's giving you? I'm gonna try to lighten it here. And what's
right.
giving you a ray of hope in all of this? What like little things? What have you seen that's given you that push to keep going and not just fall into despair?
Definitely seeing the community come together and how people are helping other people and going out of their way so much. I had heard about a old lady, I think it was in like Douglas Park or something like that. Basically her something had happened to her husband previously, so he was no longer there. Days before the fire, she did not know how to use her generator. It wasn't working, so she was stuck in the dark for days on end, without power, without her husband, without anybody knowing. She had called into the radio station, and she got help within a few hours. So seeing that is absolutely astonishing. But I'm very glad the community came together so much.
What about you, Monique?
Let's see. Oh, on what gave me just a bit of happiness was on the weekend. I went into that charging station in the high school to charge my phone and my Switch. And there was this very nice guy who was also charging his Switch, and he guided me to the right cord to charge it. And he talked about his game. He was playing Pokemon Scarlet, I think. And I also saw a buddy from choir in school, Malcolm, and we just talked about what was going on the TV, which was like a antique show and a travel show going on.
Oh yeah, like Antique Roadshow or something.
Yeah, that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And just a guy traveling,
Nice.
talking about animals and
Yeah.
food. And, I was there for like a couple hours, and that really made my day. Just being around people.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we are social creatures in the end.
Yeah.
What about you, Ethan?
Well, I remember I was driving up to Brookings the day that they called for the reinforcements from all the firefighters from all the different states. And man, we were going up, it was probably driving just after Smith River towards the border, and these convoys of like 10 fire trucks, 10 to 20 fire trucks, each just identical fire trucks, all from all these different fire districts, just kept passing us the entire time there. Just convoy after convoy of fire trucks, probably like 50 trucks on the way there, maybe all together, and each set of like 10 of them or each dozen of them were from different fire districts. So just to see this cooperation of all these different fire districts coming together to come fight this fire.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I like seeing Pacific Power really step up and like throw generators down when we're going to be out of power. We would be out of power for like a month, at least like a good month, because of all the lines being crispy. I think that really says something about our ability to shout at them.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is heartening. We often feel here that we are tiny. We don't have any say.
Yeah, very forgotten.
Yeah, very forgotten. And I mean, we're supposed to be a top priority, but we haven't. When we've looked, I haven't seen a whole lot of coverage of this. But it's nice to see that the people that I guess really matter in that regard, the people who have the power lines, and then one of the senators has seen us and has passed us these resources is really heartening, I think.
We're on the top geographically, but I don't know about priority wise.
Right.
Because there's that whole hurricane in SoCal.
Yeah, 5 inches, right?
Wow.
5 inches right.
Yeah. But how's it been adapting to to like work in regard when there was no power? Like how has it been doing the old school journalism and like going out and actually asking people questions?
I feel like the change in workflow that resulted from the outage was very abrupt. I remember the last day that we had power, the last thing I was doing actually was going and reporting on this lifeguard training. And I got all the footage, and I went by the radio station, dropped off the cameras to charge, and unloaded all the footage. Everything's normal. There's power. I go home. I take off my shoes. I get on sweatpants. I'm about to make tea, and the power cuts. And that's that. And the next day, I wake up after a day without power, and it's Saturday, and I'm supposed to go to the historical passport that's that day. So I go down to town, and nowhere has power. The station doesn't have power. I couldn't get a cup of coffee at the station because the only thing here that had power was the board, because that was what was hooked up to the generator. And I headed out with the camera to go get footage of the historical passport. I got there really early and nobody was there, so I decided to go out and get a cup of coffee. And man, that was a challenge. Everywhere was closed. The only places that would have had coffee were the gas stations that had massive lines, and I wasn't going to go wait in a line and waste precious time to work on the historical passport piece. So I headed back and waited there, and nobody ever showed up, and it was canceled. And it was just such an abrupt change because the other day I was reporting on a story, and now today my story is a complete bust because the power's out. And we come to work on Monday, and I can't do my normal workflow. I'm used to doing morning news, but there's no internet, so we can't download our segments and do Redwood Voice community news.
Oh yeah, I think all three of us collectively, we have a bit of a social anxiety, and it's a little hard to get to start talking to people. But as we were doing it the past couple of days, it got easier.
Gotcha.
As Paul worded it, it's hard to go interrupt somebody who's clearly busy, right? And then on top of that, we're uninvited. We have no prior connection with a lot of these people, right? Normally, like when we go to an event, we were invited. Or at the Mountain Men Rendezvous, I don't know. They were a little bit more hospitable there, I guess, just because it's not, crisis, right? They're having fun. It's a festival.
Yeah.
Of course, press is going to be there, right? Well, when you're showing up to a charging station where all these people are in their pajamas, of course they're going to be upset.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. This is the first time we ask, "Oh, would you like to be interviewed?" And they said no, which usually they say yes, but it's more of a fun time,
Right.
to say yes to an interview.
I mean, disaster journalism is definitely a different beast than your normal everyday journalism.
It wasn't too bad for me.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I had a little bit of an issue going up and interviewing people and whatnot, but the second I actually did it, the ball would just start rolling on its own. So it seemed to go pretty easily.
So what you're telling us is you have the natural swagger.
Yeah, I have the natural swagger.
Maybe just I don't have natural swagger.
We'll work on it.
Okay.
We'll build your natural swagger.
Yeah.
It can be attained.
But a lot of it was interesting with how everything worked and kind of just noticing how it worked. A lot of the time when we would go up to people, when we tried getting a more mechanical side of the story, the stats, well, how is this working? How are we doing with this, that, and the other emergency services, whatnot? A lot of it would just be, sorry, you cannot talk to me. You have to go to this person. And then you'd go to that person, or you'd be unable to reach that person because of insert whatever reason. And then they'd go, oh, I don't do that. You have to go to this person. And then you repeat this process over and over and over again. Like there's some people we just kind of interview because.
Circular bureaucracy. I'm familiar.
So unless you're in already, you cannot get in.
Yeah.
It seems.
Yeah.
I'm surprised how we got in eventually.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
With
too.
a couple people.
A lot of them are incredibly busy, so it makes sense why they wouldn't be so open to question asking. And all of that. So I do understand the whole urgency to it because obviously it's a very bad fire.
Right.
It's standing at 52,000 acres right now.
Yeah, as of time of recording, I think it's about 52,000 acres.
Yeah, so it makes sense why they're so busy and why they're not, focused on publicity and whatever and the journalism side of stuff.
Right.
I understand why they would be so,
Yeah.
to it. But yeah, it just seemed kind of challenging trying to understand, I guess, if you were to try and go as maybe not as like journalism or whatever, and go and just try and be like, hey, what's going on? There's probably something there. A lot of it is just a communication issue. It seems.
Yeah, there's a lot of runaround that gets involved in that because they don't want to give you bad information.
Yeah.
but also they're extremely busy, so that it's like they can't give you any information because people that aren't busy aren't the people that have the full information, and so it just kind of spirals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fire station really was just a series of getting kind of handed back and forth to all these different people. Talk to the PIO, you talk to the PIO, talk to this person, you talk to this person, they tell you to talk to the PIO again, and they tell you to talk to this other person who tells you to talk to the OES person. And then we finally get what was his name again? I always forget. Bill Stevens? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we finally got the interview with Bill Stevens, and that was like, what do you call that? Everybody was the gatekeeper for that light at the end of the tunnel, that interview.
Yeah. Well, here's that interview, actually, because you speak of it.
So for the Sheriff's Department and Office of Emergency Services, what kind of challenges does the outage bring?
Considerable, because with the fire going on up 199, that can mean a lot of business for the firefighters, but it can be somewhat limited for what's happening back here in town, except for us just kind of watching what's going on and hoping that nobody's in peril. Completely different dynamic this time, with the power being out, with 199 being closed. There's a ton of problems that are having to be dealt with by emergency services here in town. Power, like I mentioned a minute ago, can be a matter of life and death for some people that are on oxygen or use durable medical equipment. There's people that need to go over for medical appointments that either aren't going or have to drive around because 199 is closed. And so the Office of Emergency Services is very busy trying to work out those kinks and iron things out, working with local businesses who are doing great because a lot of them are trying to stay open. A lot of them are getting resupplied on stuff that they're getting sold out of because of all the people in the county, in the community, needing these things all of a sudden. Radios, ice, generators, a lot of stuff. But Emergency Services for Del Norte County is coordinating a lot of stuff to help ease the pain and make things a little easier here in Del Norte County.
How has the community been feeling? Can you speak on the community's feelings toward this experience?
I think the community's been doing great. I think there was that initial shock when 199 closed, and that's kind of a pain. But we're used to that happening from time to time on a temporary basis. Well, this was more than a temporary basis, and so then shortly after that, within a day or two, then the power went out, and so and again we're used to the power going out, but not normally for a very long time. So here we are. With I keep saying I-5, with Highway 199 being closed on a long-term basis, and the power being out on a long-term basis, and so to further answer, to better get back to the point of answering your question, yeah, the community is doing great because that is what the picture I just painted poses a lot of challenges and a lot of hardships for the community. The community is coming together, especially local businesses, in getting goods resupplied, goods that people need, but not just the businesses, but citizens in this county are coming to the aid of other citizens to help ease their pain. And so, I think it's a valiant effort by everybody in this county to make things go a little bit better during this hardship that we're all in.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any?
Has emergency services itself had any sort of challenge with the influx of issues, I'm imagining, because of the power outage and stuff like that? Or have you guys been able to sort of stay on top of it?
I think we've stayed on top of it. I think, fire and ambulance are continuing to go to the average amount of calls that they would normally this time of year. And resource-wise, they're staying on top of that. Law enforcement, that's probably the more challenged because, with the evacuation of Gasky and other things that are happening, maybe more of a challenge for law enforcement. But Sheriff Garrett Scott had put out a mutual aid order or request, and there's other law enforcement officers showing up from other agencies and counties throughout Northern California. And so we do have a fairly robust law enforcement presence in the county right now with all the help we're getting from those other counties and cities throughout Northern California.
And in addition to the evacuation requirements for law enforcement, were there a spike in like 911 calls or crime after the outage?
Yeah, there was a spike both after 199. Well, actually, when the fire started, fire causes a lot of smoke. A lot of people want to call and say, "Hey, there's a fire," and sometimes, most of the time we already know about the fire, but they're just doing what they think is right. And then the highway closed, the power went off, and it did cause a pretty good spike in 911 calls. But we were able to kind of calm people down via radio spots and with the use of our Everbridge notification system that reaches out to people's phones and whatnot, and tell them, hey, if you have an emergency, please call 911, but anybody else that doesn't have an emergency, don't tie up the lines. And the same thing went for Sutter Coast Hospital. We've been advising people, if you don't have an emergency, don't burden Sutter Coast Hospital because they're pretty busy too.
So yeah, what did we just hear?
A lot of information. From what I remember of the interview and everything, a lot of it is just how it's reacting to emergencies and everything, and how we've kind of stayed atop of it when it comes to the technical side of, keeping the structure, like societal order and whatnot. We're actually doing pretty good. I think like the fact that we have power again with the generators, and who knows how well that power is going to be, but the fact that we have power again, the fact that everything has ran so smoothly, it's I think it's showing that the community is doing pretty well, and we're doing well together.
We haven't had a protest yet.
Yeah.
Our voices are being heard.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, by at least the important folks, if not
Yes.
the entire nation.
Yeah. It's doing pretty well. I'm surprised by
Yeah.
how quickly we've reacted and how well it's just all doing.
Yeah,
it doesn't
yeah.
seem to be falling apart yet.
And then I guess another thing that kind of brings that like, oh yeah, we're doing okay, is Patrick's Lodge is still standing as of time of recording. Somehow it is still standing.
Oh,
Is it their perfectly maintained lawn? It just makes like a fire barrier.
Right. Well, when I was there, when the fire was like breaking out, and I went to go to like get footage of it breaking over the mountain, they were just spraying the lawn with water. It was just like sprinklers constantly. So that might be part of it, but I think it was the firefighter crews that actually because they protect structures, right? So I'm thinking that that's what they did, is they protected the structure. Because it, like in the pictures I saw, it's like powered down and there's like ash on it, but it looks solid.
I'm surprised they got it still standing.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the fire can't burn where it's already burned, which is another thing. Yeah. So like once they've gotten it out there, then it's not gonna burst back per se.
Yeah, because all the fuel's already gone.
Yeah.
So
I just hope all the houses in the middle of the woods are okay.
oh yeah, there's a lot of them. I've had several different friends who live up in the mountains and everything evacuate, and yeah, like I can't even imagine that because you're so out there. One of my friends, he lives, I can't remember which road it is, but he lives back in the mountains, and there was a fire patch behind his house, and he's been waiting for his zone to reach level 3. But the fire wasn't really getting as much attention as the others because it was so far back out there. So his house is just basically like guaranteed to burn down because of it. So that's also something that some people have to deal with, is that because of where they live and how they live in the terrain and everything, their house is basically guaranteed to burn down in a weird way.
Yeah.
In a very sad way.
Yeah. Because I remember another thing that happened. I hadn't had a shower for a couple days since the power started to go out. So, and I didn't know anywhere that had a hot shower. So I had to go up into the mountains, into the fire area, up into the smoke and the flame and everything, to go take a hot shower at someone's house that happened to have power and internet and hot water. It was weird. It you wouldn't think, go up there to go take your hot shower, but that was the only place I knew
into
of.
the danger zone.
Yeah, you have to go into the
away
danger
from.
zone.
Man, using the toilet at the Kobold's lair and flicking a light switch and the light coming on for the first time in 2 or 3 days was really trippy.
Yeah. My family was making jokes they were going to forget how to flush because we're on a well.
How is that having to be dealing with your well and everything. I'm assuming that's
I
been a
was
challenge in
very
itself.
stressed.
I would imagine.
Yeah, I was very stressed that whole weekend that it happened because I was over here like half the time. Ralph, a credit to our organization, Ralph, has passed on to me for the time being generator. Really nice new generator and 3 massive Gatorade, like those Gatorade coolers full of water.
Oh wow!
So that I can like so we can fill the toilets if we need to.
Oh, cool.
Because usually the family, like we knew the power was going to go out. We filled up our bathtubs, but our bathtubs drained out instead of like plugging like they normally do. They drained out, so we didn't have that water.
Bummer.
And and Ralph just like that stepped right in.
Yeah, Ralph was on it, and again, that ties into the whole community coming together, helping each other.
Yeah.
That sort of shtick. So
yeah, we had like 3 different generators dropped off at our house at one point because people just knew we didn't have one.
Yeah, I had one of my friends had been going around with his own generator, him and his dad, and just like helping people along his street getting power for their fridge and their freezer so stuff didn't melt and all their food go bad. And then I also with my dad was going around dropping my generator off at people's houses. Helping friends and trying to get them generators as well so that they could also do the same. So yeah, again, just all community coming together.
Yeah, that's really fascinating. Like that generator service kind of thing that was going on. The people just going around and passing the generator.
Yeah,
around.
a lot of people were doing that. I know there was again on the radio they were talking about one guy who was just going around town and doing that when it first happened. So it seemed a lot of people started doing that. Maybe not because of it, but that seemed to be some sort of influence.
Right.
But maybe.
What's funny is we had the inverse. Our neighbors all had generators, and they're all former COs, and they didn't ever think to lend us a generator.
Oh.
Yeah. We had somebody with a big old generator that's our neighbor, and they were gone. Actually, they had to get the life went on. They had to go take their youngest to college,
I see.
and so like their generator was just going, and nobody in the house.
Just sneak in, you take a hot shower.
My sister considered it. She knows them really well, but you could also kind of see the dichotomy of everything when the power goes out because the people that have the generators, they're like, oh, what? Something happened?
Yeah. It also seemed when they started bringing those large industrial generators back, a lot of people, maybe not. I don't know if like offended would be the word, but. Because they care about infrastructure and not necessarily who gets power.
Yeah.
More of like who's important. There'd be houses that would receive power just so happenly. I saw some people were pretty upset about that. They're like, I get power first.
We saw what the priority of the county was on what got power. And that would be the 101 strip, Front Street. And then I think it went like Seawood, and then the outer lying areas like our houses, the 3 of us. So, it gave us a bit of more of an idea of what's important to the county.
Yeah,
which is helpful in its way, but can offend some because I'm not important.
The properties of law enforcement, basically.
Right. Well, because they had their own. It sounds like they had their own generators. I don't know. Regardless, I think that covers a lot of it. Unless you guys have questions for me, because I've been kind of running this show a little bit.
I guess like your experience then, because we talked about the well and everything. So how's that? Right. Besides the well, like any like personal story about
I went out.
You've seen?
Yeah, I went out when the fire was starting. Yeah. I hit it right on the head when it was going, and I got to watch a helicopter take off for the first time, and I recorded it. It was pretty cool. It'll pop up probably.
Yeah.
There, but it would dive so much wind. So much wind. I almost got cut by the grass that was flying from it. Like it was brutal. Huh. But it was pretty cool. A lot of people were just ready to like drop at our house because we have a big backyard.
Right.
And so we pretty much became a second evacuation site if needed, but we got lucky and only a couple people had to come by.
Yeah, that was kind of the same with me. As I also had that sort of like, hey, if you're evacuating, come here. But that was mostly for friends and everything. And thank God I didn't really have to do that. But also at the same time, if they need it, hey.
Yeah. I ended
Stop by.
I ended up going into my barn and taking like 2 couches that we had like just like stuff back there because we didn't have. They were good couches and we didn't want to dump them.
Yeah.
I ended up putting them together and making a mattress, and apparently it's been the most comfortable bed that the person that's sleeping back there has slept in like a long time.
Oh, good.
I was like, really?
The most
Okay.
comfortable bed.
Yeah. Because I made a mattress out of it. It was wild.
We should have asked that evacuee what the Red Cross cots were like to sleep on.
Oh yeah, right. That would have been something.
Because they're all like the same exact military cot, just copy and pasted.
Probably a
Little wooden
really
frame.
low hammock,
Yeah.
very low on the ground.
Yeah, tight, low hammock, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, my experience was stress for several days. I wept openly on the second day, and then I was fine.
Me too.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was a lot of people seemed. I mean, it's a stressful thing, you know, having
Right.
your entire life burned down. So I would imagine people would definitely be stressed out about it. I wasn't too stressed about it, but at the same time, I'm not, you know, in the fire zone. So
Right. Yeah.
it makes sense why. And I was privileged enough to be able to have power due to our generator. So
Yeah. Well, thanks for talking with me and you know sharing that experience. It's very personal. Well, I think that's about the size of it. That's been our Redwood Voice podcast.
Yeah, up to now.
Yeah, up to now on August 24th, 2023. We'll catch you in the news.